Hello, Academy parents. My name is Kristen Brown, and I work with your children in science class. I also work with the fifth graders. I am their homeroom teacher. I absolutely love sharing my passion of science with your children each day. And I'm extremely excited that this year we were able to move around the building more because that means we get to go to the lab at least once a week. Seventh graders will be focused on life science, which means we start with the most basic unit of life, the cell, and we expand to much more complicated things like the human body and ecosystems, growth and development of all living things. Eighth graders will be focused on the physical sciences. So we are talking about force and energy, motion, waves, electromagnetic radiation. Then we get into the structure and properties of matter, the periodic table, and chemical reactions. Both grades will also be doing a lot of STEM labs this year. So I'm very excited. A day in the life of an Academy Science student. When the students come into my class, they start with their wonder boards. We're trying to incorporate a lot of inquiry-based learning this year. So last year we did what was called Science is Weird, where I gave the kids a topic to focus their scientific research. And this year it's a little more broad. I'm giving them more of a generalized topic where they are going to pose their questions and they're going to kind of come up with what they'd like to research based on that more broad topic. And then that way they can kind of dig into the things that interest them and that they'd like to know more about. And this will go on for approximately 2 weeks. And at the end of those 2 weeks, then they're going to present some of their new learning to the class. This helps to kind of promote some of that public speaking as well. Scientists need to be able to present on the topics that they are researching, and that shared knowledge helps other scientists kind of move forward in their research. And this is only the first few minutes of class each day, just to kind of warm up their science brains. And then we'll get into our daily lessons, and those might consist of using our text, some note taking, diagramming and labeling, videos or discussions. Sometimes we debate, sometimes we are doing lab activities, sometimes we're doing more research or presenting kind of a variety of activities. Sometimes it's hands-on learning. Usually we're going to be in the lab on at least Fridays. Some days we're going to be doing some outdoor exploring. In terms of assignments, I will be checking notes periodically. Some of these will be in Google Classroom. Some of them will be spiral notebooks. The kids are expected to bring their spiral notebooks each day to class. We do lesson quizzes for most lessons in the book. I do allow the kids to use their notes in their books for these. These are more assignments than they are actual quizzes, but there will be quizzes throughout the chapters, and there will be end of chapter assessments. And then there are a variety of projects and assignments that we do throughout, depending on the learning that's going on. You know, the expectations for my class are pretty simple. They're be responsible, have your materials each day. The kids are moving this year, so it's really imperative that they remember to bring their notebooks, their folders, their textbooks, and then their learning materials. They need to have, you know, pencils. They need to have their colored pencils so that when we are diagramming and labeling, that things are clear and neat. They need to follow their GA codes of conduct. They need to be respectful of one another, of myself, of themselves, of God. They need to try their best. You know, that's really all I ask, and I'll always support them when they're giving their best effort. And then they need to communicate. I always tell the kids, advocate for yourself. If you're struggling, let me know. I will always help them. Okay, I'm always willing to stay after if that's necessary. If they need support, I will always give that to them if they, if they communicate with them. If with me, I want them to succeed. I want them to do well in science. I love what I do and I will always support them. I want them to love science as much as I do. Grading, we use a total points grading system at GA. So tests are always going to be worth more points, the same with larger projects. Quizzes and smaller projects are going to be worth a lot of points as well. Classwork and homework will be worth a little bit less. And participation is going to be worth the least amount, but still it's going to be worth part of the grade. It's important. It's important that students can raise their hand and share out their thinking. It's important that they can pose thoughtful questions. It's important that they can share what they're thinking in debate. It's important that they have confidence in what they're thinking. Our tech policy is pretty strict. They need to be respectful when they're using the Chromebooks, that they're open when they need to be open and closed when they should be. Homework, we need to follow the GA homework and late assignment policy. I don't give a lot of homework in science. It's very rare. I give the students what they, the time that they need in class. If they're using their time wisely, then they won't have a lot. And if they do have a lot and they're struggling at home, then I want them to speak up and say something to me so that I can make sure and help them. And absent work, if a student is absent and has been absent, then they're going to have time to make up that work. As much time as they've missed, they'll have that amount of time. And again, I will support them if they need that and they've been out of class. Please feel free to contact me if ever there is, more time needed or more support needed. Parents, I know that Academy students don't always communicate with you what's going on at school. So if you ever want clarification or have questions about things, or you just want to check up and want to know what's going on in science class, please don't hesitate. I check my email a lot. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm a mom too, so you want to know what's happening at school. Please feel free to reach out to me. I understand, and I'm glad to speak with you at any time. Your education is important. You send your children to Guardian Angels because you trust us with them. So I'm glad to talk to you, and I'm really looking forward to a great year. And yay, the science lab is open. So let's all celebrate. Take care.